2015 to order, and welcome everybody back. And looks like we got a pretty full agenda, so we'll kind of jump right into it and head down to item number 2 and new business and park assignments. And I don't know if we want any discussion on this, or if Colby's got an update as to kind of where we.
Ms. Kinnison brought this to attention. Normally in the past, the commission has assigned parks, kind of a adopt a park type of deal where you'd get 2 or 3 different parks. We haven't done that with the new commissioners on board. There was some talk about, do we want to do this or not? And so I know Laura brought this to attention, so I'll let you.
Well, what we had kind of talked about was, I think several months ago at a meeting, is that rather than we each taking 2 or 3 parks as our own parks to kind of whatever, is that we were just going to be responsible for all of them. Everybody's responsible for every park in town, and we don't have specific parks. But we also, you want me to talk about the quarterly park thing? We talked about having like a spotlight on different parks in the community, maybe some of the lesser known parks or the little more hidden parks. And, you know, everybody pretty much knows about Riverside and the adult softball complex and what all's going over there. But there's some other smaller neighborhood parks that maybe every quarter we could, a commissioner could take that park and have an event there. And we would have some staff back up to help with that, you know, serve them lemonade and cookies or something, or just get them to come out and see what that little park's about and enjoy it and know that it's out there, and kind of publicize what we do have, because we've got a lot of parks across the town that, you know, we'd like to see everybody enjoying as much as they can. So that's kind of what we had talked about. I'm in favor of everybody being responsible for everything. You know, you can't ignore a park when you drive by it and see something that needs attention. So, and we don't do that anyway. So, we're essentially looking out for all of them, all of us anyway. So,
Laura, I just wondered if you know, that I wonder if I don't know how that's worked in the past. Being new to the commission, it sort of sounds like a good idea to me as a way to make sure that everything gets, you know, an eyeball on it by somebody on the commission from time to time. If you actually take particular parks and you know, sign up for them, do you think we run a risk of overlooking
I
some
don't
assets? I don't know. I'm throwing that out there.
Well, I think you make a good point, but I don't think that we run the risk of overlooking something, because parks maintenance staff is in every park once a week doing trash, or?
Yes, ma'am. And Mr. Keenan, we've instituted just the last quarter. We're doing a park grading system, and we do this once a quarter, where we have a system of checklists that goes through, and so we're grading our parks once a quarter to determine weaknesses and different things to that nature. So we are out there, of course, by all means, but that was just brought to me as do we want to do this or not, and so it's really a commission, you know, decision on whether y'all want to adopt a park for each one, or y'all want to just kind of leave it open for everyone. And you can always go back. That, you know, if you try this and it doesn't, you know, you don't like the way that it works, and then we can 6 months from now we can change it right back, and there's no problems.
Well, my thought was really is not so much I would expect the staff is keeping an eye on things and stuff. I'm just kind of thinking more of as a commission function in fulfilling our duties. If we shouldn't make sure that we at least lay eyes on some of them. I mean, I certainly don't know where all of them are, probably.
Right.
And I just feel like I'm a little worried about overlooking some of them, but it's just that's
well, and it really, I'm sorry, it makes no difference to me. It was just something that we had talked about, and I brought it back up to just keep it in the discussion. So,
A couple of things that, from my vantage point, Lewis may differ from his. I don't know that being assigned a park always made a person go see that park or take care of it. And on the flip side, having a park assigned to you didn't always mean that if there was an issue with that park, that the resident who had the issue came to you to express that. They would just go to a parks commissioner. It didn't matter who it was, because they knew you were a commissioner and could bring the item, you know, raise it up to attention. So I think having more eyes and broader, I think might be worth trying something. That's just my perspective. I don't know.
Sounds good to me.
So, do we need a motion to adopt all parks by all commissioners? Or just,
I just need direction if you want me to come back to this commission with that as an agenda item, or if we want to leave it and, I mean, it's not an official act, it's not in the bylaws that you have to, and so if it's a program that you wish to not have anymore, then we'll just leave it alone. If you want me to come back next commission with, to where we can assign that, then we can do that as well. So I just need direction on which way you want me to go.
I'd like to see how it works personally, and see if there's any issues with it or not any issues with it.
If I was assigned one park, I'd feel restricted, like I couldn't touch any of the other parks or have any input on any other parks.
But you could.
I'm like Lee, do we know where other parks are? I mean, maybe taking a field trip would help us. But I know it's in the map, but this map is not, to the specs.
See, I thought we should get a bus and go around to
Yes.
every park. I think that.
Like a little field trip.
Yeah, absolutely.
That way we can identify with the park and say, well, where's that park at? Because I know for a fact, I know where the Hopkins Park is, because I know our organization was the one that spearheaded the donation to open that park back in the dark ages. But I feel like you're saying a field trip would be ideal for, does everybody know where the parks are besides looking at the map? Because you drive by it and say, I didn't know the park out here.
That'd be something maybe for the first, October meeting when the new commissioners come on, that we figure out a little bus trip to all the parks and kind of orient ourselves. Is that something that's possible?
I think it's possible. We'd have to look through the details and the logistics of it, but I don't think it's off the board that we couldn't handle. We just have to get back. I mean, thinking of it right now, I don't see any hurdles, but, I'd have to look through it. It may take some time. It's not going to be an hour meeting by any means.
Wouldn't be.
No.
Well, why not? Let's give it a twirl and see what happens. Does it need a motion? I'll make the motion that we adopt this new everybody eyeballing, everybody watching all the parks at the same time idea.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign?
I just say that, if you have your favorite park, continue to go to it.
Sure.
I agree.
I kind of took it, my park was mine, and get your hands off of it. But I think it's a good idea. But I know there's some parks out there that we don't know where they are, or you don't think about them when you do go by. So maybe more eyes will be better. But if you have your favorite, I would suggest keep going.
All right. I guess that talks out Section A of new business. Now the proposed bylaw changes, we'll move on to that. And this is something I think we had talked about, it seems like eons ago, but certainly before Christmas, and the executive had discussed as well. So I know Colby's staff had done a pretty good job here of putting together what the current bylaws are and what the proposed changes would be, and I hope everybody had a chance to look through them, and if not, take a few minutes to do so. But any questions about any of this? Lee?
On the purpose change, the only concern I had about that is that the purpose is stated in these existing bylaws is the purpose that's stated, word for word in the code section on Parks and Recreation Commission. So that seemed like a kind of is there a real impetus to make a change to that language, since the code sort of says what the purpose is, and we've repeated it? My thought was maybe we should leave the purpose alone, but say that something to the effect that we will carry out our purpose regularly by, advising the Director of Parks and Recreation. I think there's nothing wrong with the description here of this alternative purpose, but mainly because our purpose is in the bylaws is taken verbatim from the code. I was a little reluctant to modify that part of the bylaws.
So Lee, are you saying that the Victoria City Code has our purpose in it? I'm not.
It does. It's in section 2-97. And it says the purpose will be to advise the city council on matters pertaining to the acquisition of parks and recreation areas and facilities and the development, management, maintenance, and use of park and recreation areas and facilities owned or controlled by the city. So it seemed to me that maybe the better course is to leave our purpose or our purpose alone. I don't have any problem whatsoever saying the way we're going to achieve our purpose is through advising the Parks Department. You know, the language that you've got in here. If that's more what you see in other parks commissions. I know y'all did some surveying or something to look around at some other.
Well, I think, if I remember correctly, I think that the proposed change more accurately describes the mechanics of this commission as far as making those recommendations. We don't directly go to City Council and make those recommendations. Our Parks and Recreation Director takes those to City Council, and that's the difference that I see in them. Right? Mm-hmm. So,
like I said, I don't have any history on the
right.
how we got
I hear
here.
what you're saying
I
about
noticed
changing code,
that the other changes that were proposed were things that don't reflect the way we really do things. It sounds like they're kind of parliamentary issues, and those seemed fine to me. My only concern was because that essentially statutory language that's in that we've adopted into the bylaws. Before we changed that, it looked like to me the thing to do is maybe to leave that in there, but we could certainly clarify how we approach that. And I think the language you've come up with here about advising the director is certainly fine. I just was, to me, I was a little concerned about having two purposes, one in the code and then one that we've said is ours. So,
is there going to be an election for changing code with the City Council election in May? I'm looking at you.
That'd be like a charter amendment.
Yeah, charter amendment. That's what I'm thinking.
No.
Codes can be changed. It's an ordinance reading. It's a matter of changing the ordinances to vote to council. So there's a difference. But the answer is no, there's not going to be a charter election this May. But he's talking about the codes that we modify those codes quite frequently. That's your ordinance readings that you'll hear the council do. So.
Okay, so it's not like a big deal to change it.
Not if council's
not changing
willing,
it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I don't particularly see any change. I don't particularly have any concerns. From the time I've been here, it appears that the changes under the proposed section have been actually a more accurate reflection of how we've worked, working together with the director and staff to come up with future plans, needs, and work on that facilities. But when it comes down to the final addressing the council, we're always there to support the director, but the director handles those, has always handled those particulars. So I have no issues with the proposed change.
And I think that was the thought when the proposal was made to change it in the fashion that it is, and that it does incorporate some language that ultimately it comes down to the city council. But if there needed to be a modification to the ordinance, I think it would better reflect what we do as a Parks Commission. So I agree with Jamie.
So does this require a motion or?
Well, I'd offer a motion if I'd offer this motion if I could to leave in the current purpose statement, but then beneath that take the proposed language that's there and just modify it to say that the commission will regularly advise the director of Parks and Recreation in the development of a broad variety of recreational programs, and then just leave that language there too.
So it's
that way you
consistent with the
preserve
code?
that way you preserve the consistency with the code, and then you're saying how we will do that, and you've got your overriding purpose, which is what the, what the city code and council at this point has stated it is, and then we're trying to reflect reality about how we do business by incorporating that same language. It seems to make more sense to me. Of course, I'm a lawyer and I always like to add words. I don't want to take any away. So that would be I'd offer that as a motion, that modification.
Okay, state it in the form of a motion for us then, please.
I move that the original purpose stated in the bylaws be retained, but beneath that we add this language. The commission will regularly advise the Director of Parks and Recreation in the development of a broad variety of recreation programs, parks, facilities, and services to meet the needs and demands of the residents of the community. The Commission shall provide assistance in establishing, reviewing, and execution of the parks master plan and report to the Victoria City Council as needed.
Any objections on your end, Colby? That seems to
We're
make
essen-
sense. 'Cause
yeah,
now
we're just essentially, I guess, just combining, is that correct? Yeah,
Correct.
okay, yeah.
For clarification. Okay.
I'll second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, good. It wasn't too many words that you added, Lee.
It was, it's the fewest I've added all day.
Moving on to the approval of minutes from our November
Ash,
meeting.
just a second.
Yep.
From what I'm getting, the motion that was voted on was to change the current proposal. Are y'all okay with the rest of the document? That's not, that hasn't been voted on in my view. Okay.
I would offer an additional amendment to adopt the remainder of the changes set forth in the proposal as written.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign? Good, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm rusty, it's been a
Good
while.
catch.
Now we can move on to the approval of the minutes from the November 10th meeting. Did anybody have anything out of those minutes that needed to be amended or changed?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign? Good. Okay. Citizens' communication, I don't see anybody unless we got nothing. All right, we can move on. Items from commissioners. Anybody have anything that they want to discuss?
I have a friend who keeps reminding me to tell y'all to do something about the streets, and so I've done it. That's it. Not our department.
Anything else? Anybody?
Hey, excuse me, Kobe, what are those plants you planted down from your office, down the hill, by the golf course?
We're working on a program instead of using the control post. Every year we budget a dollar figure to replace control posts that are worn or broken and stuff, and so we're changing that up and working to plant plants through there. They're Texas native grasses. We've got some purple fountain grass, some you're catching me off the top, some pampas grass. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I like it. I think it'd be a nice change from the posts, and then also, when you're in certain areas of the park, we'll screen the traffic view, maybe even help them, look at some areas of the park. And
yeah, we're working real hard to make sure that we're looking at it from a view of inside a car, just to make sure that we're not impeding any views to the river as you're driving through, but to change it from just the control post going all the way through. Some of the park we will have to have control posts. But
did y'all trim them back for the weather?
Did we trim them back?
Or have the deer been eating them, or what?
No, they're deer resistant on all the grasses that we select are deer
Well, I know
resistant.
somebody must have gone in and trimmed them down.
No, they're dormant right now, and we purchased them when we planted them right now. They'll full out in the spring.
No, that looks good.
Thank you.
I had some concerns about those grasses, actually. You say that they're going to stay low so that we can still see the river view?
Yes.
Okay, because I've seen them in some places get really big.
The pampas grass that were selected that you see, normally that pampas grass will get large, but that's what we've planted that like on the left side by the golf course to help block balls coming in and to that nature. And so we're being very aware when we go through that purple fountain grass. It will get tall, but it'll fountain out where you'll still be able to see. It won't get thick, is what I guess was what I'm saying. And so we really made an effort that when we're going to do our plantings that we're not impeding the view of the river. And so none of those areas we've used the larger pampas grass that will get, it'll get 4 or 5 foot round that you can't see through it. And so we're not putting those on the side that we're going to be blocking the river. So we're being real careful about that.
So how tall do you think the ones will get on the riverside by the jogging trail?
The purple fountain grass will get the tallest. Now the plant itself, as far as the full base, will get about 3 foot tall, and then the fountains will start coming out, and it'll fan out, 4 or 5 feet, about 5 foot max on there. And so what we did is we drove that with the car, just looking at a lot of those. If the road comes down, and then we got an egress going down, and then it starts to level back out. And so we try to plant it on that downward slope so that you're still above it when you're driving. And if it becomes a problem, we're going to keep them trimmed out. And if it becomes an issue, we'll take care of it, because we know that's important to make sure that you still have view to the river. Just trying something different besides the control post.
They should look good when they start taking off. Some of them are acting like they're not taking off, like you're planting more beside them. But
no, we're arranging the pattern a little different on the lower ones that we just planted. The ones that come down the road, and we're trying to do that so it doesn't look like we just have one straight line going all the way through the park. And so we'll do different patterns. The key of it is to make it where a car would not go through. Could they go through? Yes, they went through our control post, but that's what our key is. It's not inviting someone to go through. So.
One of the concerns I had was a safety issue for joggers, but if they're going to stay low, they should be okay.
Yeah, I think they'll be okay. We researched them with our gardener that we have, and she's comfortable with what we're being planted, and I am as well as I am.
They should make a nice fence on that golf course.
I just want to tell you, it's very evident to me that you have been working hard to work on the views from the in Riverside, and I just want to tell you I appreciate it, because it really, really looks good.
Thank you.
Very noticeable.
Thank you.
Any other items from commissioners? Seeing none, we'll move on to departmental reports.
Commission, I got a few things I want to go through here. The Grover's Bend project, as you're aware, we're creating a parking lot down in Grover's Bend area. We're doing a lot of clearing of brush. We received that piece of equipment that's really helping us out about a month and a half ago, and we've been going real hard and heavy on that. So if you haven't got a chance, you go to Grover's Bend and you'll see a big difference. We hope that project is up by spring break. That's what I'm shooting for. The road, the entrance and the parking will be done by then. We were able to use the same amount of funds and to be able to fund a 3/4 of a mile walking trail around it. And so that will be, you'll start seeing that come in. I don't know that will be done by spring break, but the parking lot should be open and ready to go by that time. And so we'll have Grover's Bend open back up to the public in first to mid part of March is what our goals are.
So you're saying hopefully Grover's Bend would be open to vehicular traffic?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great.
Yes, sir.
Is the trail you're talking about, 3/4 mile trail, the back loop of that Grover's Bend?
It'll connect into the current walking trail, and it'll go back along the river. And then come back up by the parking lot, and then jog back into that wooded area, and then come back and meet up right over by the pavilion that's there at Grover's Bend. That's where it'll meet back up to the walking trail. So it'll just be an additional, it'll be a granite gravel trail, not a concrete trail, just so if we've got some, flood issues or something of that nature, we can go back and just regrade it and put some more surface on it.
So you're going to go from the top of Grover Bend, where the existing trail is, to the pavilion, or are you going to go all the way to the back of Grover's Bend?
We will go, just so you orient yourself, we will go when you're coming from my office down, where the Grover's Bend restroom area is right there. On that side, we will hit, we will start there and hug the river. And basically, we're just following the river all the way around Grover's Bend until it comes back up on the other side near the pavilion at Grover's Bend.
There's kind of an unimproved trail kind of around that thing now, I guess.
Sorry, excuse me, I didn't hear you.
There's an unimproved trail kind of around that, I guess, now, right?
There's some, not that has been officially done by the Parks and Rec Department. There's some, there's some places where people have just over time started walking down to the beach areas or to the river, but not like what we're building.
How close are you going to go to the edges?
It just depends. I mean, it kind of jags in and out. I mean, I've tried to keep it as open as I can, where it's not really hidden. But I've got to stay at certain. I don't want to build it so close to the river that every time we get a small rise, it washes out. So I've stayed away from it some. But a lot of those views, you'll be able to see the river on most of the walking trail.
Are you still having goats working back there, or is that wrapped up?
The goats are working in the park. They haven't been in our area in a while, just because we've had such heavy machinery and things of that nature. So we're moving them in and out of the park at different locations. We just recently completed a round by the pump house, and they're working their way north from there. Splash pad update. We are working right now. I am going to take to council a proposal on the 17th. Hopefully, we've hired a landscape architect to help us design this and get through the phases of construction as far as what will be the phases, what the proposed budget is. I will be taking that to council on the 17th if we get done and ready. Just wanted to let y'all know that, so that if you read it in the paper, you won't, it won't take you by surprise. We don't. As of this today, about 4 o'clock, I didn't have the proposal back from the architect, so I don't have the exact, what it's going to look like or anything of that nature, but I will be presenting that to council, and I'll shoot you guys an email out as soon as I'm ready that I'm going to take this and hopefully delay it as, that y'all get it as quick as you can, or that next morning right after council. So just wanted to keep you, updated that it is going to council on the 17th, and, I'm sure the newspaper will pick it up, but I wanted to let you know that what I was going to be doing. The proposed 2015 projects, and that's 15-16 budget year. Really looking forward, this next budget cycle it won't be equipment heavy this time. From what I'm starting to build the budget, we're just in the very start of the process of building that budget, and so I don't foresee it being real equipment heavy. I don't know exactly what all projects are going to be in there. I will be bringing that back to y'all in the March or April meeting as far as here's the projects that I'm recommending going forward. I need to get that to the city manager and assistant city manager as far as what numbers we need to be at, but that's kind of where I wanted to let you know that I'm leaning more towards smaller projects than large ones. I think with the knowing that in the next year's budget cycle I'm going to have to get some equipment, and then I may be able to hit a little bit larger project. I am taking most all the projects off of that list that we created from that we prioritized. Doesn't mean that they're in exact order, just kind of where I can see and fit them. But I want to let you know that will be coming to you soon.
The entire list?
Yes, the proposed list. Take that it has to go through the budget process. It has to get approved through council. So what I present to you in April could change by the time it's voted on in late September. That's that at the will of the council as far as if they approve those projects or not. So that's not set in stone in April, but that's kind of where I'm looking at heading in the budget process. Danielle's going to go over the recreation events. She provided you a new handout that we're presenting. This is fresh off the presses, and I'll let her explain that.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me okay? Okay. Well, as you can see, we have this new activity guide, and this will be what we put out to the public. We have all of the events on the back. On the inside, we have all of our pavilion rentals and all of our other parks. And then, of course, on the map, they're noted on the map of the location. This is completely funded by a grant with the Victoria City County Health Department to help promote free, healthy activities. So it's been a good partnership with them. Do you have any questions on any of the events? Like next Tuesday, we have the first ever Fat Tuesday Mardi Gras Street Dance. And then we will have the first ever drive-in movie on the 20th. And those are going to be pretty popular events.
For the Mardi Gras event, does the city have a booth? Y'all going to be giving away beads or?
We will have staff out there. And we have in the past given out koozies. So we're still planning on what our presence is going to be like out there.
Ms. Repka, just for your knowledge in there, when we do our street dances, they are in conjunction with Hartman Distributing. Hartman does the majority of the event, not all the event, but they are the ones that are setting these events up. This is very little cost to the city as far as hard cost, and so we do a lot of the soft cost, with employees helping and things to that nature, and so. Just so that you know, those street dances are done by Hartman. So anybody that you see that is doing vendors or anything of that nature, they go through Hartman Distributing to be able to get that.
Danielle, where you have the drive-in movie?
It
says Riverside parking lot. Is that Riverside Stadium parking lot?
Yes, that will be the Riverside Stadium parking lot. We're also going to have a car show there and some food vendors as well. And also a costume contest for those dressing up in 50s attire can have a chance at a $50 gift certificate to the Pump House.
I like the way you've laid this out for everyone. Are these going to be available to the public at certain places?
We plan to distribute them all over town. I still need to get some brochure racks to put them in and see if hoteliers will let us put them out along with the CVB materials. If they will be at the CVB, they will be at the Public Information Office, our office, and on our website. And we'll probably hand these out at our first event at the street dance, just so that everybody that's there will have a complete schedule of all of our street dances and other events for the family.
I think this is a great addition for the CVB.
Thank you.
I have a question for you. You said Hartman does the street dances. Does he also contact the bands, or does the Parks and Recreation contact the bands?
Yes, Jimmy Perez with Hartman.
Jimmy? I know
Yeah, he's the one that schedules all the entertainment. And if you need any of his information, I can share that with you after the meeting.
As far as what?
Like contact information.
No, I've got his.
Okay. Okay.
We do a lot of work with Jimmy.
Okay.
Does this cover all the parks? I didn't really get to look at it.
Every park should be listed on here. Now, we do have a small breakout of Riverside, but we also at the office have, and online, a regular 8.5 by 11, more blown up version of Riverside Park, because there are more amenities on that one than listed here. But this should be every park that we manage, that the city manages.
I think that's a great resource for us and for everybody.
And the sports complex isn't considered part of what y'all I mean, it is, isn't it?
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay. Is that listed on here, the Little League
Yes.
part?
That's number
It's
20.
listed as-
The last one, number
Thank you.
20.
20 and 29. Here's the map.
Mark, if you look at the Parks Division up there, where it says number 20, it's Youth Sports Complex, and that matches up on the map.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, that was number 2 for the adult complex.
I think just the number of events, it's opened my eyes to the number of events that you put on by laying them out like that, so it's
And there could be additional events too. I mean, this is
Right.
not
Right,
locked in.
there is a note
this
on here
all
that
it is.
any of this can change, because, you know, a lot of these events are held outside, and the weather can change where we're gonna have it.
Okay.
And we might add on some, but right now, we're just gonna focus on these. But we could add on more.
This was a tool that we wanted to implement to give some focus and direction to our recreation side as far as where we were going and let the public know where we were going so that it wasn't just we need to run a tournament this year, this week or something of that nature. And it really gave our staff here's what we're planning out and doing. And that also helps from the budget standpoint, is being able to know what events we're going to be doing in a year's time and getting that out to the public as much as we can in different forms, whether that be, Facebook or Twitter or these, regular handouts. So.
The Facebook stuff is good. That's easy to share and,
Sure.
Keep sharing and stuff like that.
And we've got the drive-in movie on the 20th is really getting a lot of movement on Facebook. There's a lot of people excited about that. They're posting their, whatever classic car they may have or telling each other, let's go. And, so we get a lot of, free advertisement on Facebook. It really helps us. And that's all the reports I have, the department side.
Anybody have any questions on any of the reports we've heard? Great. Okay, let's move on to our committee reports and actions, and we'll start off with the Christmas light display. And do we have,
Anybody have any? Well, I think this came from me.
Yes.
During our Christmas break, after our Christmas parade, I took my family to visit the Cuero lights, and I was so impressed by their lighting display. And I came to the realization that it was kind of like going to a parade. It's a stationary parade. And because I was so impressed with it, I came back and shot all the city council members and you guys an email saying, please go visit this light display. It is so awesome. And then I got to inquiring more about it to find out it's all volunteer. And started talking with Colby and said, is this something that the city is really interested in? And he's like, well, and Charmel told me that Riverside Park doesn't have the electrical infrastructure right now to support an event like that. So Colby wanted to know how much does Cuero have into their electrical infrastructure. Today, Kay Lewis wrote me back from Cuero. She's one of the main curators of that event, and she told us that it's like $800,000 that they have in the electrical infrastructure. So Colby informed me that maybe we're not interested in doing this right now, that Cuero can be special in a Christmas lighting display, and that's totally fine with me. I just thought it was such an awesome event that, maybe it's something Victoria could look at. But I'm fine with Cuero being the showcase for lighting display.
And, I'm with you. I've also visited the lights in Cuero, but if you notice that every station or every lighting has a sponsor, and I'm just thinking maybe that $800 you're talking about, maybe the sponsors donates for that, or is it all?
No,
it's all
the
city?
sponsors, the sponsors. If you want to, community volunteers, people in the community volunteer a lighting display. So they have different. They ask you how much you want to pay for your lighting display, and then you donate it to the city, and then the city keeps putting it up each year. And I still kind of wanted more information on that, maybe for me to donate a Christmas display. But the city pays for that electrical infrastructure. That's their.
Because we go every year, and it's grown. Every year we've gone.
It
it's
is
grown.
immense, and
It
it's
is.
still growing. So, and I didn't realize that they've been doing this for 14 years too. So it's a real showcase that they have going on over there. I'm
So
really proud of Cuero.
The 800,000 represents what the city's put into wiring, underground work, transformers, this and that and the other to bring adequate
She gave us a
electricity
list.
all around.
She gave us a list. I don't know what some of these things are, but she says approximately 60 pedestals at $4,000 each, 4 30-amp RV receptacles, I guess, and then 13 transformers at like $4,000 each, 6 reclosures. I don't even know what that is, but $700 each. The list goes on and on for different electrical specs, and then that's what she told us on that. And she said that all the underground electrical conduit is not in this estimate of cost. So, But the way that they put it up each year is all with volunteers, and then they use inmates to put it up as well. And that they said that they have so many displays right now that they had to buy an extra storage building right there in the park, and that's where they store all the stuff, is right there in the park. And then they pull it out, and it runs for like, what, a month about? So, but it's amazing what they're
Yeah,
doing.
they have a real nice program going over there, so it might be best just to,
She said that they buy the Christmas displays from 2 vendors, and you can pick out of a book what you want, or you can have your display customized. So, kudos to Cuero.
yeah, very much so.
Definitely. And that's all I got on my Christmas.
Dog park update.
Okay.
Since I missed the exec meeting, I'll turn it over to Laura.
Okay, what we discussed is that we have got to get a committee structure going on this, and we need to do it sooner rather than later. We can begin to raise money. We can begin to look at outside sources. We can begin to look at what is available as a resource for funding on this. Without really knowing exactly how much we need, because any money we raise for this will go to this. We are going to have a draft of an architectural draft.
Just for the commission's update, when we first talked about this, the dog park idea, I thought I could come back with a design for you that said, okay, this is how much, I'm looking at being this facility costing. After getting into the weeds of that, I'm going to recommend that we go after a landscape architect to kind of tell us, what a design cost would be, with the different infrastructure that's going to be in that. I don't feel like that I can turn out the product that we're looking for, and so that's going to be my recommendation. Now, I've asked a landscape architect that is working on the splash pad to come back with a proposal of how much that would cost for him to give us a cost estimate, a layout of what it would be, and that way he can design it to the size we want, move it back and forth, and he hasn't got that back. I expect that back tomorrow, but I just wanted to give you all an update that's kind of my recommendation. As far as getting someone, that doesn't mean that that's the route that we have to take. But that's where I'm at as far as being able to design the project and get a cost figure on that project.
And the cost of his services to bring us that design are not covered with any other funding that we have. We've got to raise the money to pay for the architect's portion, correct?
Yes.
So we've got to we've got to develop some committees, and if we can do that this evening, it would be better than postponing it.
So, Toby, I noticed the arena's getting cleared out.
Yes, sir.
Have they finished taking what they were going to take, or are we still holding there, or what?
They were originally asked to be done by the first of the year, and they just could not get finished. There were some small items that was still technically that the Horsemen's Club owned, and so working with Mose. I knew that we weren't going to be doing anything, and I asked Mose, how long would it take you to finish out what you want to get, and he said he'd be done by the end of February, and so I felt like that was a good, go ahead and let him use that extra month to get anything else that they needed out of that facility, because we weren't going to repurpose any of it.
So as Laura was talking about, then we need to get, if the architectural plan that you're proposing would have to be funded by, as Laura mentioned, donations? Or is this something that was in the, come out of parks?
That's not included in my budget anywhere. I believe that what we explained to council was that this entire project would be a private funded event, that it would not come out of city funds.
Okay, well, I have no problem being part of the committee. As you know, I've been kind of interested in this project, but I'd like to know when we can put this committee together and start having regular meetings and sit down with you and decide and put a plan together.
Okay.
What do we need to do, and when does it need to be done by? Get some realistic time frames and goals set.
We have a rough idea of what the cost of just the plan is going to be?
That's what I'm asking.
What what we're doing with the landscape architect that I'm using for the splash pad is not going out and making full-fledged blueprints. Most of this is the stuff for the splash pad is being able to be bought off of, like a playground comes. It's already pre-designed by company A, B, or C. And I would the dog park in the same aspect. It's not that he's going to come in and say, okay, he needs to design the fencing. We know we can go buy the fencing. It's to let us know, okay, here's what current infrastructure you have, here's what we need to get to, and these are the prices where it is, and give us a rough drawing, a conceptual drawing of what that will look like. Getting into that, we want this building, or my belief is that the commission wants this facility to be something that matches with Riverside and looks nice, that is a facility that stays for a long time. And so that's where I felt like, let's bring this, someone in that's going to be able to give that outside looking in, not just, okay, here's a square fence and let your dogs run. I should know that, Mr. Keeling, hopefully tomorrow. He actually just called just a minute ago, but I should know those numbers fairly quickly. I'm expecting them any moment.
You don't have a feel for whether that's a $5,000 or a $25,000.
I would just, please don't quote me on this. I'm expecting $5,000 to $6,000.
Okay.
Want me to continue? Do you want me to see who wants to step up?
Is that part of our work session, is to figure out some of these committees? Is
Yes,
that what we're?
I think we need to, while we've got the full commission here, would you like to chair the fundraising committee?
I don't have a problem with it, but I am a little bit, when is my term up?
December.
December?
December.
Yeah, I know I'm not, I'm on the
It's gotta be
tail, I'm
September.
on the tail end of I'm about to rotate out. And I don't mind doing it, but at the same time, December or October?
No, it'd be October.
October, right? Or September would be the last meeting?
You could still be
You
the
have until
chairman.
2016.
Oh, well, hey, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You're not getting off the
Can't
hook
pay it
that
off
easy.
yet, then?
I can't bail out yet.
Lots of time.
Yeah.
Well, I would be willing to. I'd like to get a committee together, keep everybody, have a, meeting. But who else would be interested?
Who
I mean,
else would be interested in serving on the fundraising committee with?
Well, now, are you calling a specific fundraising committee, or what would be the actual function of this committee?
The function of this committee is to start getting money together.
Okay.
We've got to pay for the architect. We've got to pay for whatever we end up putting in. We've got to raise the money, which will all get lumped into one big pot for the dog park and whatever comes out of that.
Okay. Well,
So the one thing that I want to make clear is that at this moment in time, we obviously don't know exactly how much we need for this dog park. But, the worst case scenario, we raise way more than we need, so we just need to be raising funds. And there's
I'll
no
help you, Jamie.
time, like, right now to,
I'll help you on your committee.
Yep, I'm ready. And like, again, we're working with Colby and the staff to get in, progressive time frame. Hopefully, we can meet some of these, meet these goals.
Well, I think
Again, a
short-term-
lot of it is still, we're still kind of at the starting line. Some of it's going to depend on what we hear. And then, from
Right.
the architect and the plan, and then start our progression there. So,
we could start, the committee can already start looking for grants. They can start looking for partnerships with maybe local civic clubs, things like that, Kiwanis, Optimist, whoever.
You can forge the relationships in need. It's tough to raise money without a goal.
Right.
Somebody, everybody's going to want to know how much you need to raise.
Exactly.
But-
Until we get a little bit of information back, we're still going to be kind of
Right.
foggy on that. So we
Right.
definitely got to have a clear cut.
But the committee still, needs
There's legwork.
needs to meet so that
Oh,
the
absolutely.
committee can figure out their structure and stuff. Okay, so we've got Jamie as the chair. Ash has agreed to serve. Anyone else?
Anybody? I don't want to have a two-man
I'll help. I'll help.
show here,
I'll
or
help.
two-person show. Gail, you want to?
Yes,
Okay,
I will.
great.
These donations, are they going to be tax exempt? They're going to be donated straight to the Parks Department? Is it?
Well, those are probably some things that would need to be addressed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'd
that's-
set up a separate, it would be a separate account. And we'd then, of course, to be nonprofit, we'd have to, you're talking about, 501 type
No,
status. and we
you
wouldn't
talk-
have to do that.
Explain that
get-
budget thing
I
where-
will get with the committee, and have maybe our assistant finance director come to, if we have one of those, like a lunch or something of that nature, have him come explain how this could work. I don't want to speak out of turn as far as what this would be, but I'll have Andrew come to one of those meetings and walk us through this.
Yeah, there would be a good time for everybody to get together, because there's still a big gray area here. So again,
Okay.
a lot of questions to be resolved in, committees. So.
Well, you're in charge, so you set the meeting, and they'll notify us that we have a meeting.
Okay.
You, Ash, myself, and Gail.
Anybody else?
Anyone else?
Mark? Lee? Okay. Yeah, I'm happy with it.
Okay.
That's a good time for y'all to bring in other members of the community to serve on your committee.
That would be something, good idea. Again, that would be something we'd want to address, to see that since we're a spin-off of the Parks Commission, how that would work. And, so those are good questions to bring up when we sit down with Kobe and staff to, get ourselves started and rolling and get our goals and fund needs in place.
Mike, did you say you would?
Well,
I might be calling
Ms. Kenneth.
on people for
Kenneth.
assistance
Okay,
here
well,
and
I
there.
didn't
So-
know-
You want to keep that committee under 4. You go to 5, and now you have a quorum.
Okay, well, that's why I was just making sure. I thought he was saying he was in, but, okay.
I'll share some ideas.
Yeah, you want to get the community involved, so maybe
absolutely.
call it a labor-intense fundraising
But right now, I just want to get to the
project.
point of what I'm involving them in.
Yeah.
But if anybody else knows some people who are dog lovers and would be willing to fund, pass their names along.
Once we can get some numbers and some
We'll need to
firm
talk to
things to
those folks.
discuss in
Wasn't
place,
there a
then
group
I don't
that
think finding the
brought
dog
this out?
lovers will be difficult.
Wasn't there a group that sort of brought this idea that,
There have been several, I don't know about a particular group, but there have been several individuals who have been very strongly in favor of this, so. I
Eagle
don't
Scouts
think-
came forward.
An Eagle
and
Scout, yeah, with
Tom Willis
Yeah.
about making it one of their Eagle Scout projects to
Yeah,
build
like-
some of the amenities and things for the dog park. So that's certainly something that we would pursue. But I don't know if there was one particular group that came about. This has been sort of bubbling up for quite a few
Yeah.
Or
years.
you can kind
Be
of
explored,
resource
though,
a
for
couple
sure.
of the two county adoption places here. that
Oh,
might
yeah,
be able to
I'm
do
sure
it.
that'd be great. Yeah, I'm ready, so I'll get with the director and we'll set up some times and dates and get some meetings set up so we can actually get some firm numbers and things in line, and we'll go from there. But we will be going, though. It won't, if anything, I'll probably have to learn a little patience, but we'll work it. We'll get it going.
Thank you, Jamie.
Anything else on the dog park? I don't know if we need any other committees at this point. It's kind of tough. This will be the kind of key one
I think this is.
until we get things rolling.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. This will take care of it, I believe, to start.
Okay. And I guess that took care of the work session, or was there another project committee that we were looking at?
No, that is it.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have anything for the good of the order before we?
Several members have
What's
mentioned
the vote?
about possibly having a meeting out at Riverside Park around in Grover's Bend. Is that something y'all would be interested in doing in the March meeting, or?
love to do that.
Why not?
Okay, well, we'll see what we can do on that. I'll keep you updated.
Great. Seeing nothing else, I guess, motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Thank-
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Al.
Thank you.